I'm back. So today we are doing a video about organization, cosplay organization to be exact. I'm going to be talking about how I organize my wigs and how I store my wigs. So this is how I do it, but I'm also going to give you recommendations on what I've seen other cosplayers do, or ideas that I've had of things to do. This is mainly going to be unstyled wigs because I feel as a cosplayer in a small living space, because I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, it's easier to have unstyled wigs and just style them when I'm going to be doing a certain cosplay and then unstyling it so it's available for other cosplays. Unless it needs to be cut, then it's specifically for that cosplay, right? So there is a couple options on how to store. So because I'm in such a small living area, we do need to upgrade. We're planning on to upgrade to a house at some point once our lease ends. So I ended up deciding there was a couple options. There was the shoe rack on the side of the doors, the ones that you can put on the back of the door, and that was one option, but I use one right now for yarn, so that was kind of out of the ball, and then it does make it harder to close the door because of the hooks that are over the door, and I will show y'all what I'm talking about. So it does make it harder to hook over the door. And then there's also having shelves up top, which I will also show you as well. You can make these shelves really easily by going to Home Depot, getting like wood cut, and then you could stain them and just buy some clasp, like the little clasp things that go in the wall. Just make sure you have studs, or you have, what is it called? They're like these little plastic things that you put in to hammer into the drywall, so it stays up. So there's another option, and you would have heads, so like foam heads, or they also have these like plastic stands that you could get and put your wig on top. Those tend to be a little bit weak. There are the more expensive heads as well, and you could actually create, like with PVC, you could create like a stand to put your heads on and then keep it there and kind of create a stand for it in a way. So that's another option. The very basic option, which is what I had to go with, is getting one of those 3 plastic drawers. And then the 3 plastic drawers, you would keep your wigs in its netting, in its bag that it came with, and then you would actually go ahead and put it into the drawer. And I have stacked, I don't know, like 30 wigs into 3 different drawers, probably about 10 wigs per drawer. So that was the better option for me because it fit in my closet and it could just go right in. Actually, I have 2 drawers that I'm using. The other drawer I got to use for something else. But yes, that is honestly the best way. So I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all what I'm talking about, so you kind of have an idea of how you can organize your wigs. Or if you're thinking about doing cosplay and you were like, I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to store my cosplay items in such a small space. So I'm going to show y'all all of these things that I'm talking about. Like I said, I will show you the last thing that I do have my wigs stored in, but I will show you the other things that I'm kind of talking about. I don't have my wigs stored there, but it was an option for me. Alright, so let me go ahead and show you all that. Let's go to that. Alright, so the first option was one of these shoe storing door racks. So these are great because you can keep them in the bags, and then you would actually just slip in your wig in here. Depending on how thick the wig is, you might be able to fit 1, 2, or even 3 wigs per sleeve. So as you can see, this sleeve has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So you could store up to 24 or times that by 3 depending on how thick your wig is. And like I said, that's keeping it in the netting and keeping it in the bag that it comes with. So this is a really good option and a very easy and simple way if you have very little room. Just to give y'all an kind of like a overview of how much room we have taken up. Our walls are pretty much almost completely like taken up, so this was a really good option and for me. So let me move on to the next option that we have. Okay, so the next option that you can do is making shelves like these. It's very easy to buy this wood at Home Depot, and then we ended up staining it with some stain you can buy at Home Depot, and then you go ahead and buy these like little hook things and some screws to screw onto the wall. Just you got to make sure you have a stud, or you could go ahead and get drywall screws to go ahead and make sure that they stay up. But this is a really good option. So if you see that top drawer, that top shelf, there is 2 pops stacked on top of each other. That actually is enough space for a styled wig, depending on how long it is, or an unstyled wig. So this is actually something I recommend for people that have styled wigs that they might need to store and just don't know how to store them. It's a really good option because you could actually go ahead and make stands or use the heads that are already there. And I'll show you what I mean by the heads. There are 2 options that I have, but it's a really good way to store your wigs. So I'm going to go ahead and show you which heads I am talking about. So when I'm talking about heads, I'm talking about these 2. So this is the one that I use to actually style my wigs. It is definitely a more heavy duty, and you could put pins on it, and also it's just really nice, and it's all black, but it also has like this cloth cover, if you can tell, and it has a very sturdy mount at the bottom. This is a 22-inch, and you could just mount it if you do decide to make a PVC stand up top. There's also these foam heads that are the cheaper option. They also have a hole at the bottom, but they're not going to be as sturdy and they will not hold up as heavy wigs. So I do recommend something sturdier like this one. This was about $15, so it can get a little pricier. You could get about 4 of these for about $15. So those are just 2 different options. And like I said, on those shelves that I just showed you, you can actually create a PVC stand and go ahead and put heads for each single one with smaller PVC, as you can see down here. So really great option for storing your wigs. Now for the final option, I recommend doing a drawer. These plastic drawers can be a little pricey nowadays, but you can find them for really cheap at Walmart normally. So it is just a 3 plastic drawer. The first 2 are nothing but wigs. So as you can see, I kept my wigs in the bags, and I also kept them in their netting. So when I open it up, it is very easy for me just to go through my wigs. I have a bunch in there, as you can tell. I'm pretty sure I have about 10 in each drawer. So I'm pretty sure I have about 20 wigs total. You could open it all the way up and you still have wigs going on for days. So this is probably the most easiest way to store if you have a really small space. But if you have the option to do the storage in the sorry, I have like fake mustaches in here when I was Mario. So you do have the option to do the door storage. It would actually be a really good way to easily be able to get your wigs. This isn't a hard way to get your wigs, but you do have to pile them on top of each other, as you can tell. So you kind of have to look. The way I do it is I put the wigs I use the most on the top of each drawer. But that is what I recommend for like a closet. If you need to keep it in your closet like this, it was very easy. And then with my 3rd drawer, I actually had space to leave workout clothes and some bathing suits in here, but you could use all 3 of them. And I would say you could put unstyled, the way you see my wigs, you could put about 30, maybe even 40 wigs in there. So I hope this video helped anybody that has very minimal space and is trying to figure out how to store their wigs, or just wants to know how to store their wigs. Those are all very good options, 3 options for unstyled wigs, and one of them is even an option for styled wigs. So I definitely would say give one of those a try and tell me which one you liked best. Probably when I move, I will have a shelf specifically for styled wigs and make kind of a PVC pipe type stand. That would be very awesome. And I don't know if I'll do wigs on the door, or I'll end up storing wigs in the drawer still, just in my office, because I plan on having an office slash studio slash like cosplay room just for me, because right now I do share. But yeah, tell me if y'all enjoyed this video. I do love making stuff like this, and everybody wonders how I store my stuff, especially in such a small space. So I'm more than happy to share that with y'all. I try my very best. As many of you might know, I did 34 cosplays last year, so you could just wonder, where did she store all that? Right? You gotta be very smart about the way you do things when it comes to cosplaying, because you start running out of space at some point. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, everyone!